Taiwan is having a huge protest right now, especially if you consider how hot it is to be standing out in Taipei. The Specter posts here at Specter Affairs on July 27th 200,000 protesters in Taipei demanding the resignation of the ruling US backed DPP. That's strong language. When what began as a food safety scandal over contaminated toxic cooking oil is becoming what some call the biggest existential crisis yet for Taiwan's Democratic Progressive Party. The scandal is affecting all Taiwanese cities and nearly 2,000 schools and businesses. Protesters accuse the DPP of a cover up. The Spectre was on the ground in Taipei talking to protesters who made clear the discontent goes far beyond the current crisis. The DPP deliberately creates division, glorifies Japanese colonization, vilifies mainland China, and denies their own ancestry, one protester told the Spectre. About 60% of respondents in Taiwan support the protests, organized by the Kuomintang KMT opposition, according to the latest polls. Always take polls with a grain of salt, especially the ones coming out of Taiwan. Mayor Ko himself was tricked by the polls, but it's certainly something to think about. And I'm just going to let this clip keep rolling while I yap. This is a more casual video. I don't have any notes, but this is very important to talk about, in my opinion, because Taiwan continues to be pushed as a potential flashpoint for kinetic conflict in East Asia. And obviously, I don't want that on a personal level. I have family there. Taiwan is very dense. Any sort of kinetic warfare in Taiwan would be a disaster given modern technology. It's not 1960 anymore. Like the post says, this is a long time coming. What did the post said? The discontent goes far beyond the current crisis. Yeah, when it's talking about food scandals, the DPP, Democratic Progressive Party, they ran on food safety back in the day. Taiwan has had many food safety scandals because Taiwanese people, Chinese people, we care a lot about food. Some people say there's a cultural renaissance going on in China because of the food. Chinese people are growing taller because they're being properly fed. A lot of Asia suffered from malnutrition and poverty for decades. And in that respect, India is very much included. I have a friend who says that the colonizers from Britain stole 200 years of progress from India. And if you look at old pictures from history books, the Indians did a lot of fighting for the British Empire. They were like top officers and also grunts, suffering a lot of human loss. Anyways, back to Taiwan. So yeah, the DPP ran on food safety back in the day. Taiwan has had issues with food safety with ractopamine in the pork, a controversial growth hormone, chemicals in the beef as well, scandals with eggs that were expired or not good, smelled funny. And like I said, these scandals are very important to Taiwanese people. And Taiwanese taxpayers, it's not like everyone can work at the semiconductor factory in Taiwan. Most people are grinding at really hard jobs. The work culture in Taiwan is very tough. It's like we inherited all the bad parts from China and Japan. Some companies still use floppy disks, something you find in Japan as well. Just very archaic, old thinking that refuses to let go. Reminds me of my grandfather, who is 90 and refuses to retire and wants to work until his last days. But yeah, these protesters, like I said, 200,000 protesters in Taipei at Ketagalan, the main political center in the city. It's hot. It's very hot. Even if it's cloudy and the sun's not out, it's hot and humid. So 200,000 people out protesting in and of itself is impressive. And, it looks like this is backed by the KMT. And the KMT is becoming more vocal lately, which is good to see. But I'm still quite disappointed at KMT at the level of internal conflict and fire that Chairwoman Chen Li-wen is facing. Looks like the Specter has another video here on Taiwan, so it's kind of perfect. The Specter writes, President Lai Ching-te stepped down. Taiwan's food safety crisis had turned into a political standoff. The Kuomintang is on the offensive, rallying hundreds of thousands in Taipei to bring down the government, the DPP government. DPP holds the separatist line. KMT wants KMT wants to restore the 1992 One China consensus. At least I believe Chairwoman Chen Li-wen does. I don't know why she spells it Cheng with ch. That's part of the problem of the Chinese romanization in Taiwan. Because correctly it would be zh, Zhen Li-wen. Her name is not Chen Li-wen. Her name is Zhen Li-wen. She's the chairwoman of the KMT. But she knows that discrepancy. I'm not correcting her. I'm just sharing for the audience that even on a language level, there needs to be work done in terms of creating Chinese unity and rejuvenation. Yeah, Zhen won the KMT leadership in 2025 as a dark horse candidate. Let's see what she is saying here. Yeah, since I was a kid, Taiwan's politics is just fighting, shouting, literally throwing punches, literally throwing pig guts in the diplomatic buildings. It's just a terrible show. I think that's fair. There is a growing anger. Every time I go back to Taiwan, which is generally at least once a year, I will talk to as many people as I can and get a sample size 10, 20 people, taxi drivers, people at the mall, employees at the mall, people on the streets, some grandmas, some grandpas, some uncles and aunts are very chatty. We have different concept of personal and social boundaries in Chinese culture that I find is prevalent in both mainland and Taiwan. And Taiwanese people are usually seen as a bit more meek, especially compared to say people from northern China. I didn't center the video very well, but oh well. Yeah, like I think around 2025. Yeah, summer of 2025, major Taiwanese influencers started visiting mainland China. Even before that. And you could see the winds change online in the online comments because these online comments ultimately they flow downstream or they flow into main life, into real life, into meat life. And you could see in the comments, 我是中国人,我也是台湾人. I am Chinese and I am Taiwanese. This was a sentiment that was a social faux pas in the last 10 years under the DPP power. You could argue Taiwan has stagnated the most under DPP. And you could argue that DPP is actively hollowing out Taiwan right now. Especially if you saw how Howard Lutnick talked to us, like a gangster, really. It's a blessing for Taiwan to give away the TSMC, the semiconductor company that took a lot of guts and grit from the KMT, along with central planning to get it done. But yeah, the tech is being transferred to Arizona, and I think there's no stopping that, even though it's facing obstacles. And China has prepared for this. China is going to let it go. Both Taiwan and mainland, PRC and ROC. In a sense, we do have to let TSMC go. America wants it, and it's not worth fighting over it. China is developing its own domestic semiconductors and lithography machines to make the wafers, the waffles. Yeah, I'd like to go into the comments now. The online landscape has changed so much regarding Taiwan in the Chinese discourse. Topic Taiwan, Hong Kong, Xinjiang, Tibet, Xizang. These topics have been beaten to death, and it's just being rehashed. So I think time is on China's side in terms of even the propaganda war. China's boring, straight to the point, honest, cringy propaganda. It seems like everything now, whether it's true or not true, is called propaganda. But China's propaganda is not strong, but it is doing work in a sense because the bridges speak for themselves. The roads, the technology, the buildings, they speak for themselves, right? A video of a building collapsing or a video of a car on fire does not indicate reality, right? These could just be outlier cases. I have a friend, my friend Camel Larry from the Gulf of Aden. He's in Malaysia right now doing well, and he says Chinese EVs are doing great. I don't want you guys to have them. I want to keep them cheap for me, and they're great. They're cheap and good, right? Right. This idea of overproduction from the media and from journalists who can't speak Chinese telling you about China. Just think about that. It's insulting your intelligence as the audience. Anyways, Rebecca Chan, down with American-backed DPP. 作时理, 理作时, 理作事. We don't have the tones. Didn't the DPP initially run on banning tainted American pork, then totally caved to U.S. pressure after they won? Yeah, U.S. made a lot of promises. If you eat the poison pork, 你吃来猪,我就给你礼物. There's gonna be benefits, but yeah, what benefits? All circus, no bread, no delivery, right? Taiwan is owed over 30 billion in military ordnance. We've already paid for it. It's not coming. The crowd look larger than it'll come, and there will be scandals and what. Oh, the weapons don't work, there's mold on the body armor, all this sort of stuff. I'm not saying this stuff to like insult Taiwan or you could probably label me as a national security threat because I'm saying these things. At the very least, I want what we pay for, right? I want basic dignity for Taiwan, Republic of China. And I think we're going to get that much more with mainland China than with America. But ultimately, it's not really up to Taiwan. The Taiwan question was always between mainland China and America. Since Taiwan's inception, after Chiang Kai-shek lost the Civil War and ran and swam and floated to Taiwan. The DPP works directly for CIA NED, National Endowment for Democracy, which is essentially a CIA cutout and does the same functions more covertly. The DPP is no more Taiwanese than the CIA. Taiwan would be well served to join the winners. That reminds me of Japanese people talking. You have this image that Japan is fervently building up to fight with China. They want to fight China. Yeah, Nippon, Ichiro, Sukiyaki, #1. We want to fight. Like, give me a break. Most Japanese are more clear-eyed than that. And the Japanese culture has always understood what it takes to be strong and what it takes to be a leader. Japanese culture, a lot of it comes from China. A lot of it comes from Ainu and other areas as well. But the Japanese are not blind lemmings. The media and the politicians don't necessarily represent the Japanese. I was saying in a group chat yesterday that, I wouldn't be surprised if I had some Japanese blood because five generations up, we don't know who one of the ancestors is on the male side. So it could, it could be a side effect of Japanese colonization in Taiwan. The next group of geniuses can blame the mainland for everything. The only one who doesn't blame the mainland for not promoting the process of peaceful reunification quickly. Yeah, well, being pro peaceful reunification is still seen as foolhardy in Taiwan. Zhang Yazong, he is called a rushing reunificationist. Jitong, he's rushing. And rushing is seen as barbaric or foolish in Chinese culture. So what the West sees as patient to a Chinese might just be normal. So I'm not saying who's better, I'm just letting you know there is a cultural difference. So I think that sums up the video good enough for me. The trend is Taiwanese is once again embracing historical fact that we are Chinese. Right? It's historically accurate, it's biologically accurate, it's spiritually accurate, it's culturally accurate. The true Taiwanese are the indigenous of Taiwan. It's more accurate to say we are Taiwanese Chinese. That's more respectful too. I think I wanted to make some jokes. Is a Japan more honorable? Well, you see posts from Japanese women talking about their men. These Japanese men, they'll clean up in front of the cameras, but you should see our house. He won't lift a finger. He doesn't do anything. Japan and Taiwan are both known for their high levels of misogyny, just to let you guys know. Yeah, it's funny. People online, they glaze Japan really hard, but they've never been to Japan. So they think Japan is this like amazing place. And in many senses, Japan is an amazing place. But they think Japanese people are more honorable than other people. And I would say, we're all just people. We're all humans humaning. I have never met a human without sin. Not one. Except maybe Dr. Tang. But no, according to stories from his past, he's made mistakes too. No one likes you, why don't you quit? That's advice from my mom. I've been trying to share stuff online for a long time. I made a book called Meditation Swerve. I burned out and didn't market it at all. I just thought my 10,000 Instagram followers would sell the book. It didn't, so I deleted my Instagram. Now I built a TikTok to 20,000 and a Twitter to 7,000. But my mom's like, you don't make any money from this. No one likes your posts. Why don't you just quit? And for me, it's not about money. It's just this speaking and sharing these videos I have found is good for me. It seems to be positive for my health too. So I'm going to keep doing it. Okay, Mom? Don't worry. She's worried. She's worried that the Taiwanese political landscape, I'll get into trouble legally or something. She probably just wants the best for me. Cockmogged. Yeah, I heard these Gen Z who don't believe in love. They were chatting with me, asking me for my perspective. And one of the girls suddenly said, yeah, he cockmogged him. And I was like, holy crap. That means, his cock is better than his cock. So he cockmogged him. I've never heard that term. It's incredible. As a 40-year-old Sigma, just happy, chilling at home and taking baths. Sometimes the things I hear on the internet really, they really surprise me. Very funny. Thank you everyone for helping me laugh.